Fog Wrestling back again with a brand new video, and today we're going to be ranking gimmick matches in WWE history. And obviously, they're not specific, it's simply just the match type itself. We have got a few categories here to dive straight into. The top one is the good shit, the best. Then we've got not too shabby, okayish, meh, and I can't believe you've done this. But we're going to add a bit of a Fog Wrestling twist to it, because not too shabby doesn't even sound that good. So we're going to put the best. And then we're going to put great, okay, make and stay, and we will put in the final category, mince. And we're going to go from left to right. Kicking off this list, we've got the ambulance match. There's not been a lot of ambulance matches in WWE history. You've got Braun Strowman against the big dog, Roman Reigns there, Great Balls of Fire. You've got Shane McMahon against Kane, which is definitely the more memorable one of the two. And honestly, what other ambulance matches has there been in WWE history? I'm sure I'm missing a few. But I actually think it's a really good concept of a match. I'm actually going to put it in great. It's not been overdone. And I feel like that is a problem in itself. Right? Definitely. Now, up next, we've got Baller Room Brawl. I never really liked these. I mean, it made sense that they were confined to like the Attitude Era. You had wrestlers that hung around in the boiler rooms like Mankind, etc. I'm going to put them at okay. I never watched them and thought this was really mince or bad, but I never really watched them and thought this is really great. They're simple. It's kind of just a backstage brawl, but it takes place in the confines of a boiler room. But I think what's key about this one is like you can make this match work with anybody. The next match, which is a cinematic / boneyard match, this match just doesn't really work if it's with anyone other than Undertaker. Now, if we're focusing solely on just, cinematic matches, absolutely. But the problem is, no one cares about a DIY taking on FTR in a cinematic match. They need to do their flippy dippy stuff, and then still we don't care. But if done right, I think cinematic matches can be great, but they have to be done right is the problem. Up next, we have got the Brawl for All. Of course, that was the final between Bart Gunn and Butterbean. But for me, I think the Brawl for All is a fantastic concept. If I knew tuning in to Monday Night Raw on a Monday, or SmackDown, or AEW, or any company, right, we were going to be getting shoot boxing matches between these jobbers that I hate. I mean, I tell you what, I'd tune in. I'd absolutely tune in. It would be well worth the wait, to be well worth the couple of hours watching it here in the UK. So for me, I'm honestly going to put the Brawl for All in great. Honestly, I would. Why I'm putting it, I mean, people will be putting this in the bottom category, absolutely. Oh, I don't want to see them get hurt. Give me the jobbers fighting in an actual real match than some fake scripted flip fest every day of the week. Up next, we've got a Buried Alive match. There's been a lot of these in wrestling history. The Undertaker, you've got the 2-on-2 one on SmackDown. You've got McMahon and Undertaker on 2003. It's rare you get a bad one. They know what they're doing, but they're not used all too often, and they kind of are a forgotten match type. So for me, I'm going to absolutely put it beside an ambulance match. I just rate an ambulance match a wee bit better than these ones. Up next, we've got a casket match. And I feel like a Buried Alive match and an ambulance match and a casket match are all very similar. But I don't like a casket match as much. And I'm honestly going to put it in okay. Up next, we've got a championship scramble. They only did it for a couple of years, and I think it was a really fun, unique concept, but it's one of those ones where you feel like they wouldn't do with their top stars. Like, there was a reason when you had these matches, you had Jeff Hardy versus Triple H versus Edge versus Brian Kendrick versus Chavo Guerrero, like matches of that, like they had jobbers in it. You know, it was to give you the cheap pop of, oh, could one of the Diddy men such as Chavo or Kendrick win this WWE Championship sort of thing. So for me, we're absolutely gonna put that there. Up next, we have, well, actually, I say up next. It's not. I'm actually going to put top of okay. It's almost like we didn't get to see enough of them. But then if you got too many of them, I think it would be boring, man. Boring. Extremely boring. Right. Up next, we have got. I mean, we've got the Firefly Funhouse match between Cena and Bray. Guess we've seen quite a few of these. I'm going to put them in okay, top of okay. Because what I feel like with these ones, the cinematic matches can be done a lot better, even though these technically are cinematic matches. But I feel like with the Bray Wyatt stuff, it was getting a bit repetitive, you know. At Mania, I know him and Orton did a different thing, and they were doing the whole Jack in the Box, and it was getting twisted up and twisted up. But I think top of okay for that Firefly Funhouse match is probably a bit right. Up next, we've got a hair versus hair match. There's not been many of these done in wrestling history. Well, I mean, there's been quite a few done, to be fair. You know, Jericho, Nash, Trump, McMahon, Angle, and Edge. And you know what? I think every single one of them is honestly delivered. But at the end of the day, it's just a normal match. You know, there's nothing groundbreaking. And for that reason, I'm just going to... There's no stipulation, but... Well, I mean, the stipulation is your hair. So you're guaranteed like a big moment at the end of it. So I'll put it there. Hell in a Cell. Honestly, it's going to have to be the best. If a Hell in a Cell match is done correctly, you will get a great one. It really is that freaking simple. But the problem is, I think in wrestling these days, you don't get anything great. So why would you get a great Hell in a Cell? You know what I mean? But you look at the best matches, iconic moments in wrestling history, you're thinking Hell in a Cell. And that is it. You know, the first one, Taker, Mankind. I mean, the 6-man Hell in a Cell. I mean, Michaels, Triple H was a really good one as well. Some other good ones. It's just a great match type, man. It's fantastic. Now, there is a few like match types missing, like the Elimination Chamber from this list, but it's weird because I feel like on this list they're kind of just including like one-on-one matches, but then you get the Championship Scramble, which would debunk that theory. Up next, we've got an I Quit match. I like an I Quit match, but I feel like there's a lot of periods of the match that just go in limbo because he'll batter him. And then what will happen next is like, oh, do you quit, Mr. Kennedy? I don't know where I've whipped Mr. Kennedy off, but you'll get something like that. And then it'll be just a bit. I'll put them bottom of great, but I think they can be bad. Up next, you've got Inferno matches. Well, I mean, you're guaranteed someone to be burned. At least back in the day, they were great in that aspect. These days, you know, it's pathetic. When was the last time you even got an Inferno match, man? It's been years, but I don't think they're meh, but they are very limited, and I'll put them just in front of a casket match. Up next, we've got a strap match. I'm going to put them in mince. I just can't stand strap matches. They suck. You know, it's the concept, man. Especially these days. At least back in the day, it felt a bit old school. You know, you had like the dirty straps they were connected with, and like the old school turnbuckles. Now it's like you look at the CM Punk Drew one, which the match itself was alright, bit boring, like, but it's like the lights. Oh, it flashed red. Oh, it flashed red, green. Oh, you did an offensive move. Oh, you did a defensive move. That's reset the counter. It's just all that stuff, man. In there. Up next, we've got a stretcher match. Again, you know, very similar to other matches that are, you know, focusing on an object that's outside the ring and you have to do something to your opponent. Again, I think you'll struggle to find a poor stretcher match. So for that reason, I'm going to put them in there. And then finally, we've got TLC, and I'm going to put that in there with Hell in a Cell. Some of the greatest matches ever are TLC matches, especially the early ones. I mean, each one was just iconic, man. Even the lesser fought ones, like at Raw Roulette and the one on SmackDown, they're just epic. You know, see when wrestling was great, every match like in a Hell in a Cell and TLC delivered. And then people be like, "Oh, what about Taker, Big Boss Man, or Jericho, Triple H, and Hell in a Cell?" All right, I'll let you have those couple, but see the first TLCs they did. You know, I'm pretty sure. When was the last next TLC we had after the one in 2002 at Raw Roulette? You're probably looking at a bunch of years, man, later down the line. And we don't have a ladder match stipulation in here, but for me, Hell in a Cell TLC, man, different gravy, absolutely different gravy.